Hidden beneath the jungles, deserts, and mountains of the Americas are the ruins of civilizations so advanced that their rise still amazes historians, yet their disappearance remains one of history's darkest mysteries. How did entire societies vanish without a trace? What forced their collapse? The truth is far more shocking than you think. Long before European ships touched the shores of the New World, the Americas were alive with civilizations so powerful and sophisticated that their legends still echo through time. Imagine walking through a world where vast stone cities rose from dense jungles, where astronomer priests mapped the stars with haunting accuracy, and where rulers commanded armies so disciplined they became myths. These empires did not simply exist, they thrived, expanded and dominated landscapes that seemed impossible to conquer. Yet today, their names often survive only as whispers carved into crumbling ruins. Our story begins thousands of years ago, when scattered tribes began harnessing the power of land, water, and sky. In Central America, the Maya turned dense rainforests into bustling cities, each with towering pyramids that scraped the heavens. Their writing system, one of the most advanced on Earth, recorded dynasties, battles, and rituals with breathtaking detail. In the dry valleys of Peru, the Nazca etched gigantic lines into the desert floor, shapes so massive they could only be fully seen from the sky. How they did this, and why, remains one of archaeology's greatest puzzles. Further north, the Mississippian culture built sprawling mound cities, none more impressive than Cahokia, a metropolis that once held more people than London. Farmers, artisans, traders, and warriors filled its plazas. Its central mound was so large that its base covered more land than the Great Pyramid of Giza, yet today most people have never even heard its name. Each civilization rose from unique landscapes, mountains that kissed the clouds, river valleys rich with life, and deserts that tested human endurance. But all of them shared something chilling, an ability to develop advanced knowledge that rivaled the contemporary world across oceans. Their calendars predicted celestial movements with eerie accuracy. Their engineers carved stone with techniques modern tools struggle to replicate. Their trade networks stretched across thousands of miles, linking distant cultures long before highways existed. And yet, despite all this brilliance, something went terribly wrong. Because as powerful as these civilizations became, their empires were not eternal. Their golden ages were fragile, silent warnings carved into time itself. Something, or perhaps many things, would eventually push these mighty nations toward collapse. The mystery begins here. How did societies so advanced begin to crack? For centuries, the great civilizations of the Americas stood unshaken monuments of stone. Systems of knowledge and powerful rulers guiding their people through war, drought, and change. But beneath this strength, tiny fractures began to appear. Fractures so subtle at first that no one noticed, till it was too late. Imagine a Maya city at its height, markets overflowing with goods, priests calculating star cycles, kings leading elaborate ceremonies. But then something shifts. The rains begin to fail, reservoirs dry up, cornfields wither under merciless heat. At first, people pray for relief, but the gods stay silent. Panic slowly replaces hope. Archaeologists now believe that cycles of intense drought struck the Maya heartland repeatedly. Cities dependent on water storage could not survive years without rain. Food became scarce. Rival cities turned against each other. As desperation grew, wars erupted between kingdoms that had once thrived in peace. The Great Pyramids still stood tall, but their plazas emptied. Families abandoned their homes, leaving behind tools, pottery, and altars as if fleeing overnight. But drought alone did not destroy them. Leadership faltered. Rulers demanded more taxes, more labor, more sacrifices. Instead of unity, chaos spread like wildfire. A civilization that once mapped the stars found itself unable to save its own people. Far to the south, another kind of danger was unfolding. The Nazca, masters of desert survival, faced shifting rivers that destroyed their irrigation networks. The land they relied on betrayed them. Floods wiped out fields. Then the rivers changed course entirely, leaving dried channels where fertile soil had once been. Their delicate balance with nature collapsed, and with it, their society. Even the mighty mound builders of North America faced a storm they couldn't survive, not of weather, but of conflict. Cahokia became a city under immense strain. Overpopulation pushed resources to their limits. Forests were cut down faster than they could regrow. Tension built between social classes. Evidence of violent conflict, burned structures, fortifications, and mass graves suggests that Cahokia may have torn itself apart from within. Across the Americas, different civilizations felt the same terrifying truth. Nature can nourish, but it can also destroy. Power can unite, but it can also corrupt. The fall did not come suddenly. It came slowly, like shadows creeping across a once bright world. People abandoned cities one by one until one's great capitals stood silent. Temples turned to ruins. Roads disappeared under vines. Entire cultures faded from memory. But the mystery only deepens, because even after collapse, some people stayed behind, leaving eerie clues carved in stone. When great civilizations fall, they often leave behind ruins, broken stone, scattered artifacts, and faint traces of what once was. But the Americas hold something far stranger. Entire cities that seemed to vanish long before Europeans arrived, leaving eerie clues that raise more questions than answers. Picture a Maya city swallowed by jungle. Vines wrap around the temples. Trees grow through the roofs of abandoned homes. Carved stone faces stare blankly through thickets, as if witnessing centuries pass in silence. Archaeologists who first uncovered these ruins were baffled. Why did millions of people simply walk away? There were no signs of mass graves, no marks of sudden destruction. It was as if the population scattered all at once, leaving an entire civilization to be reclaimed by nature. It's even more mysterious are the sudden halts in their written records. Steely stone monuments recording royal history stop mid-dynasty. Important ceremonies are no longer documented. Calendars end abruptly. It's as though the scribes put down their tools and never returned. What could drive an entire intellectual class to disappear? Further south, the Nazca Desert hides an even stranger enigma. Nazca lines massive geoglyphs of animals, spirals. Shapes stretch across the earth, as if meant for the eyes of sky gods. Yet many lines intersect over older ones, hinting at generations of redesign. Why did their beliefs shift as their world collapsed? Were these desperate messages to deities, or symbols of a society losing its way? Meanwhile, the ruins of Cahokia present another haunting puzzle. Archaeologists found evidence of sudden climate disruptions, political turmoil, and resource shortages. But they also uncovered something chilling. Entire neighborhoods suddenly abandoned, with personal belongings left behind. Pottery still sat near hearths. Tools lay scattered as if dropped mid-use. What could force a bustling metropolis to empty so abruptly? Some theories point to warfare, others to famine or disease. But none fully explain the scale of disappearance. Oral traditions from indigenous groups speak of great migrations of people leaving their homelands, following visions, fleeing omens, or searching for lands untouched by disaster. These stories suggest that the fall of these civilizations was not just physical, but deeply spiritual. And then there is the most puzzling detail of all. Many smaller communities near the abandoned cities continued to thrive. If chaos ruled the great capitals, why did these outlying settlements survive? What did they understand that their larger neighbors did not? The ruins whisper a single message. The fall was not simple. It was not sudden. And it was not the same everywhere. The fall of the great civilizations of the Americas was not a single event, nor the result of one disaster. It was a convergence, a slow tightening of pressure from nature, politics, belief, and fate. And yet their disappearance is not just a story of collapse. Hidden in the ruins is something far more compelling, a warning, a legacy, and a mystery that still shapes our world today. Imagine walking through the remains of a once thriving Maya city. See intricate carvings that survive centuries of rain, stone staircases worn by thousands of footsteps, and astronomical observatories aligned with the heavens. Even in ruin, these places radiate brilliance. The Maya did not vanish, they transformed. Their descendants live today across Mexico and Central America, preserving languages, traditions, and knowledge that echo their ancestors' greatness. The same is true across the continent. The people who built Cahokia did not vanish into the earth. Their cultures evolved into many of the indigenous nations that still exist. The Nazca did not fade into legend. Their descendants continued farming, weaving, and passing down stories that help explain the desert's unforgiving rhythms. These civilizations may have fallen, but their people survived. The true mystery, then, is not why they disappeared, but how they adapted. Each society faced immense pressures, droughts that turned fertile valleys into dust, floods that erased farmlands overnight, overpopulation that strained fragile systems, wars sparked by fear, scarcity, and ambition. Yet in every case, the people who lived through these upheavals made choices. Some left their homelands in search of safer ground. Some abandoned political systems that no longer worked. Some rebuilt smaller communities rooted in balance rather than expansion. These decisions reshaped the Americas long before European contact. Their ruins are not tombstones, they are reminders. Reminders that even the strongest civilizations can falter, and that resilience often grows in the shadow of collapse. What makes their story so powerful is that we still don't have all the answers. Why did some cities fall while nearby settlements survived? How did spiritual beliefs influence decisions to leave entire regions behind? What knowledge was lost forever in those final unrecorded years? One thing is certain. The Americas were home to civilizations whose achievements challenge our assumptions about the ancient world. Their rise shows human brilliance. Their fall shows human vulnerability. Their legacy, carried by millions, today shows human endurance. In the end, their story isn't just history. It's a mirror, reflecting what happens when societies face pressures greater than they can control, and how survival often requires letting go of the world you once built.